Part 1. The Appalachian Mountains were quiet that winter. Too quiet. Snow had come early, thick and wet, swallowing trails and muting the sounds of forest. Trees, bare and skeletal, creaked in the cold wind. Far above the valley floor, in a small, off-grid cabin near Black Hollow Ridge, for friends from college huddled around a dim propane lantern, their breath fogging in the air. "You didn't say it would be this cold," muttered Jackson, rubbing his hands together. "I said winter camping," replied Marcus, tossing another log into the rusted cast-iron stove. "What did you think that meant?" "Miami." The other two, Aaron and Danny, laughed quietly. Aaron had her notebook out, sketching the flames through half-frozen fingers. Danny sipped from a tin mug, moonshine stashed in her coat pocket. "I think it's kind of amazing," said Aaron. "No phones, no roads, just us, like a real survival trip. Until we run out of jerky and start eating each other," Jackson joked, earning a glare from Danny. The cabin belonged to Marcus's late uncle, a survivalist who had vanished into these woods 15 years ago. No one ever found his body. The only thing left was his place, half buried in snow, stocked with canned goods, ammunition, and stories. Aaron pointed to a carved symbol on the cabin wall. It looked like a deer skull surrounded by claw marks. "This was on the outside, too. What is it?" Marcus glanced at it and shrugged. "Uncle used to talk about old spirits. Said something about a Widego, spelled it wrong on purpose. Thought the real name gave it power. Wendigo." Danny asked, suddenly serious. Marcus nodded slowly. "Yeah, that's the one. Native spirit. Used to be a man. Got so hungry, he ate another person. Became something else." "No way," said Jackson, scoffing. "That's just folklore. Like Bigfoot." Danny didn't laugh. "My grandmother used to tell stories about the Wendigo. Said it hunts in winter. Said it mimics voices. Said it can wear your skin." Silence followed. Outside, a low wind howled down the mountain pass, brushing the window like a whisper. That night, after the fire died down and the friends fell asleep, Aaron woke to a sound. A voice. "Help." She sat up in her sleeping bag, heart hammering. The voice was faint, distant, like someone calling from deep in the trees. She slipped on her coat, grabbed a flashlight, and stepped into the cold. Snow crunched beneath her boots. The light flickered. The forest loomed, twisted shadows reaching. "Hello," she called. "Who's out there?" "Help, please." It was Jackson's voice. But when she turned back toward the cabin, she saw something that made her blood freeze. Jackson stood in the doorway behind her, yawning, rubbing his eyes. Aaron spun toward the woods, her breath caught in her throat. "Then who the hell is out there?" she whispered. The voice answered again, closer this time. "Help, Aaron." She ran. Aaron sprinted back to the cabin, snow flying up around her legs, flashlight bobbing wildly. Her breath came out in gasps, sharp with fear and cold. Jackson was still at the doorway, confused, watching her with wide eyes. "What the hell?" he asked as she shoved past him and slammed the door shut behind her. "Something's out there," she panted. "It sounded like you." The others stirred awake. Marcus blinked groggily, reaching for the lantern. "What are you talking about?" "It called my name," Aaron said, her voice trembling. Exactly like Jackson. Same voice, but he was inside. Jackson's brows furrowed. I just got up to pee and you were gone." "No," she snapped, panic mounting. "I heard it. It was you. Or something pretending to be you." Danny stood slowly, reaching into her coat for the old hunting rifle they'd brought from the shed. "Shut the windows," she ordered. "Now." No one argued. The rest of the night passed in silence, save for the creaks of settling wood and the occasional gust of wind across the eaves. But Aaron never slept. She sat staring at the door, flashlight clutched in her hand, trying to remember every detail of what she'd heard. The voice, the exact words. It hadn't just mimicked Jackson. It knew her name. Morning came gray and hollow. The storm had passed, leaving behind a bright crust of snow that sparkled like ground glass. Marcus went out to check the perimeter while the others boiled water and took inventory. Aaron stayed close to the window, watching the tree line. It's not funny anymore, she said softly. Jackson sighed. Maybe it was an echo. Or a fox. They sound weird at night. No, it was my name. It was your voice. Danny emerged from the back room, holding a leather journal. I found this on the floorboards, she said. Your uncle's? Marcus took it and flipped through. Yellowed pages, dense writing, rough sketches. Then he stopped. Here, he said. Listen to this. He read aloud. It wears the skin of the ones it kills. It speaks in their voices. You will not know until it's too late. Starvation is its origin, but the hunger never ends. The air went still. That's what you saw. Danny asked Aaron. I didn't see anything, she replied, but it felt wrong, like it was trying to pull me in. Marcus shut the journal. We need to be careful. Don't go alone. Don't follow voices. And if anyone, starts acting strange. He didn't finish the sentence. That afternoon, Marcus didn't come back. He'd gone just 50 yards from the cabin to check a nearby spring. Said he'd be back in 5 minutes. 20 passed. Then 30. They called his name. Nothing. Danny loaded the rifle. We're going after him. They spread out, staying within sight of one another, voices low. The woods were silent. Even the birds had gone still. Then Jackson stopped cold. Tracks, he whispered. Boot prints. Marcus's. But they weren't headed back to the cabin. They led deeper into the trees. They followed the trail until the light started to fade. And then they saw it. A torn scrap of flannel caught on a tree branch. Blood. Drag marks in the snow. Aaron's heart thudded. Then a sound behind them. Guys, came Marcus's voice. Where are you? They turned slowly. He stood 20 feet away, pale, shivering, his eyes too wide. I got lost. I think I hit my head, he said, but Danny raised a rifle. Don't come closer, she warned. What? It's me. It's Marcus. Aaron stared at him. Something wrong in his posture, the way his arms hung too stiffly, the strange wetness at the corners of his mouth. Prove it, Danny said. He smiled too wide. You already know it's me, Danny. And then he lunged. The thing that wore Marcus's face came fast, too fast. Danny fired. The rifle cracked through the woods like thunder, and the figure jerked backward. For a moment, there was silence. A hole bloomed in its shoulder, black and steaming. It staggered, but it didn't fall. Aaron screamed. The Marcus thing let out a sound that wasn't human. It was like the gurgling moan of a dying animal, mixed with something else. Something hungry. Its face shifted, only slightly, but enough to show the truth. The skin around its jaw stretched unnaturally. The eyes darkened into hollow pits. Its teeth were too many. Jackson grabbed Aaron's arm. Run. They ran, dodging trees, slipping in the snow, the shadow of that thing crashing to the woods behind them. Danny fired again, but the creature didn't stop. It howled, a high, choking wail that seemed to echo from inside their heads. The cabin came into view, dark, crooked, their only hope. Aaron threw open the door. Jackson stumbled in behind her. Danny turned to fire one last shot, but something struck her, a blur, and she hit the snow hard. Her scream cut short. No! Aaron shrieked, reaching for the door. Jackson yanked her back. We can't help her. They slammed the door, bolted it, then pushed the dresser against it for good measure. Silence. They collapsed onto the floor, gasping. Aaron sobbed quietly, her hands shaking. Jackson just stared at the wall. She was right there, Aaron whispered. It got her, just like that. Jackson didn't answer. Something scraped across the roof, then stopped. They didn't sleep. Morning didn't bring sunlight, only a dim, iron-colored sky. The forest felt heavier, like the trees themselves were watching. Snow had fallen again. No sign of Danny. Aaron sat with a journal, flipping through pages frantically. Her nails were dirty, her lips cracked. Jackson hadn't spoken in over an hour. There has to be something in here, she muttered. On a stained page near the back, she found it. It cannot come in uninvited. But it waits, watches. It will wear the ones you love. It will knock. It will beg. Don't listen. Don't open the door. A sharp knock made her scream. 3 knocks. Then silence. Jackson stood and moved toward the door. Don't, she warned, voice trembling. He paused, hand on the handle. Then a voice. Aaron? Jackson? Please let me in. It's Danny. Her voice. Her cadence. It even sounded scared. Aaron covered her ears. It's not her. Don't open it. But Jackson looked broken. What if it is? What if she got away? It's not her. Aaron cried. Then came the whisper, right by the window. Please, it's so cold. I'm hurt. The doorknob rattled gently. Jackson turned, and Aaron saw in his eyes. Something was off. The same vacant look Marcus had before. The stillness in his limbs. No, she whispered. Not you too. He smiled, and from his mouth came Danny's voice. Help me? Aaron backed away, heart slamming in her chest. Jackson stepped forward, but she was ready. She grabbed the flare gun from the mantel and fired. The flare ignited with a violent hiss, lighting up the cabin in a searing red glow. Jackson, or the thing pretending to be him, screamed as the flare hit his shoulder. Steam rose from his skin. He flailed backwards, crashing into the table, shrieking in 2 voices at once, his and Danny's, warped and layered like a broken recording. Aaron didn't wait to see if he would recover. She grabbed the backpack Danny had packed earlier, maps, food, the rifle, and ran out the back door into the blinding snow. The cold hit her like a wall. She slid down the icy slope behind the cabin, branches clawing at her coat. Her boots barely held traction. Somewhere behind her, the door slammed open and a howl followed. She didn't turn around. She didn't dare. By midday, her legs were soaked and numb. Her breath came in ragged clouds. The woods had thickened, unfamiliar and oppressive. The trail lost beneath fresh snow. The map was useless now, but she couldn't stop. Not when that thing was still wearing her friend's skin. Not when it could be right behind her. Aaron found a fallen tree and collapsed behind it. She wrapped herself in the emergency blanket, shaking uncontrollably. She forced a protein bar down, chewing mechanically, not tasting. That's when she heard it again. Footsteps. Soft. Measured. She held her breath. A shadow moved through the trees. Tall. Thin. Too thin. Antlers. Her eyes widened. The creature was no longer pretending. It walked upright, but its limbs were impossibly long. Its skin stretched tight over bones. Its face a grotesque mass of human and beast. Antlers rose from its skull, branching like dead trees. Its mouth hung open, and inside were dozens of blackened teeth. She ducked low, clutching the rifle. The Wendigo sniffed the air. And then it spoke, in her own voice. I'm scared. Someone help me. She clamped a hand over her mouth, tears stinging her eyes. The creature stood still for a moment longer. Then, slowly it moved on. She waited until she could no longer hear it. Then she ran again. That night, Aaron found an old ranger station, abandoned, boarded up, and half swallowed by snow. She forced her way in, coughing from the dust. The stove didn't work, but there were blankets, an old flare, and, miraculously, a radio. Dead. She twisted the dial, tried every frequency. Nothing but static. Until... Survivor report. Wendigo confirmed in Sector 6. She froze. Evac team delayed. Storm incoming. If anyone hears this, do not trust the voices. Static. She slammed the radio. No, 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 come back. But the signal was gone. Outside, the wind howled. Then, again, knocking. Soft. Patient. 3 times. Aaron, came her own voice. I found shelter. It's warm in here. You can come out now. She backed away from the door and whispered to herself. No. She curled into the farthest corner of the ranger station, rifle in her lap, hands clenched so tightly they'd gone white. The voice outside kept repeating her name in a sing-song tone. Aaron, it's okay now, we're safe. It was her voice, but wrong. Too smooth, too steady, like a mask stretched over a broken record. Then another knock, this time heavier. The door shuddered on its hinges. Erin aimed the rifle, but her vision swam. She hadn't slept. Her body trembled not just from cold, but from exhaustion, fear, and grief. "Please, let me in. It's me. It's always been me." Then came silence. It didn't leave. She knew that. It was waiting. She lay still for hours, the only sound the wind scraping over the tin roof. Eventually, her mind wandered back to that journal, the notes Marcus's uncle had left behind. She pulled it from her pack with numb fingers and flipped through the last few pages. At the very back, in jagged handwriting, were final entries. It's in the walls. The woods. My own brother came back, but he was gone inside. The eyes, watch the eyes. It cannot mimic what it never had. Regret, mercy, tears. Fire drives it back. But the hunger, it never stops. I'm too weak now. If you find this, don't listen. Burn the cabin. Burn everything. Don't bring it down the mountain. Erin blinked. That last line echoed in her mind. Don't bring it down the mountain. Was it following her? Could it leave the forest? She stood, heart racing. If it was hunting her specifically, she had to end it. She couldn't let it follow her to others. Not into the towns. Not to the people who didn't know how to hide. She packed a rifle, the flare gun, the last 2 flares, a half-empty bottle of lamp oil. Then she opened the door. Nothing waited outside. The snow had stopped. The forest was deadly still. She left the ranger station behind, heading north toward the ridgeline, toward Black Hollow Peak, the highest point above the valley. She didn't know exactly what she was doing, but instinct whispered had to end up there. The wind picked up again as she climbed, screaming between the rocks like something alive. By twilight, she reached the summit, and there, at the edge of a wind-blasted cliff, stood it, not hiding, not pretending. The Wendigo turned toward her, and for the first time, she saw it in full light. It wore Marcus's face. Danny's. Jackson's. Fading, melting, overlapping. Bone jutted from its fingers like blades. Its antlers were splintered, crowned with scraps of cloth, stranded hair. Its chest rose and felt like it was breathing, panting. She stepped forward. "No more running," she said. It cocked its head. She lit the flare. Then the second, both burned in her hands like tiny suns. "Come on," she whispered. It charged. Erin braced herself as the creature thundered toward her, the snow exploding beneath its limbs. Its scream pierced the cold air, no longer a mimicry, but its true voice, ancient, broken, and furious. She hurled the first flare directly at its chest. It struck with a burst of sparks and smoke. The Wendigo shrieked, stumbling, its skin blackening around the impact. Steam poured from its body, the flame hissing against old flesh. But it didn't fall. It lunged. Erin dove to the side, rolling through the snow. She fired the second flare, this one aimed at its face. Direct hit. The head ignited with flash of red fire, illuminating the mountain ridge like a lightning strike. The Wendigo screamed again, a horrible, deafening howl that echoed off every peak, and clawed at its own burning face. Its antlers lit up, charred and snapping like brittle branches. Erin didn't wait. She grabbed the bottle of lamp oil from her coat, tore a piece of cloth from her sleeve, and stuffed it into the neck. Her hand shook violently as she struck a match. The makeshift Molotov flared to life. "For Marcus. For Danny. For Jackson," she said, and threw it. The bottle shattered across the Wendigo's chest. Flames whooshed up its torso, licking its arms, catching in its fur and open wounds. It flailed wildly, stumbling backward toward the cliff edge. Erin watched, eyes wide. The fire consumed it, slowly, painfully, until it was nothing but a shrieking figure of flame and shadow. And then it fell, over the edge, down into the dark valley below. She collapsed to her knees, chest heaving. The wind stopped. The mountain fell utterly silent. The smell of burning filled the air, but no voice followed it. No echo, no mimicry, just snow, and smoke, and peace. 3 days later, a search and rescue helicopter spotted her signal flare from a clearing she'd carved into the trees. Her hands were frostbitten, her feet bruised and bleeding. But she was alive. Barely. In the hospital, she told them what she could about the cabin. Her friends, the creature. They didn't believe her. Trauma, they said. Delirium. Hypothermia-induced hallucinations. No bodies were found. No proof. Just a burnt patch of rock at the top of Black Hollow Peak, and claw marks etched deep into the stone. But Erin knew. She saw it every time she closed her eyes. The thing that wears the ones you love. The thing that mimics the voice of the dying. The hunger that never ends. The Widego. 1 year later. In the quiet town of Pine Creek, a ranger patrol responded to reports of strange animal cries coming from the woods near Black Hollow. They never came back. Their radio crackled once, just once, with a single voice. "Help, please. I think I'm lost." It was Erin's voice, but she was miles away, sound asleep, safe in her bed, dreaming of the snow and the flame and the eyes in the dark. Erin braced herself as the creature thundered toward her, the snow exploding beneath its limbs. Its scream pierced the cold air, no longer a mimicry, but its true voice, ancient, broken, and furious. She hurled the first flare directly at its chest. It struck with a burst of sparks and smoke. The Wendigo shrieked, stumbling, its skin blackening around the impact. Steam poured from its body, the flame hissing against old flesh. But it didn't fall. It lunged. Erin dove to the side, rolling through the snow. She fired the second flare, this one aimed at its face. Direct hit. The head ignited with a flash of red fire, illuminating the mountain ridge like a lightning strike. The Wendigo screamed again, a horrible, deafening howl that echoed off every peak, and clawed at its own burning face. Its antlers lit up, charred and snapping like brittle branches. Erin didn't wait. She grabbed a bottle of lamp oil from her coat, tore a piece of cloth from her sleeve, and stuffed it into the neck. Her hand shook violently as she struck a match. The makeshift Molotov flared to life. "For Marcus. For Danny. For Jackson," she said, and threw it. The bottle shattered across the Wendigo's chest. Flames whooshed up its torso, licking its arms, catching in its fur and open wounds. It flailed wildly, stumbling backward toward the cliff edge. Erin watched, eyes wide. The fire consumed it, slowly, painfully, until it was nothing but a shrieking figure of flame and shadow. And then it fell, over the edge, down into the dark valley below. She collapsed to her knees, chest heaving. The wind stopped. The mountain fell utterly silent. The smell of burning filled the air, but no voice followed it. No echo, no mimicry, just snow and smoke and peace. 3 days later, a search and rescue helicopter spotted her signal flare from a clearing she'd carved into the trees. Her hands were frostbitten, her feet bruised and bleeding. But she was alive. Barely. In the hospital, she told them what she could about the cabin. Her friends, the creature. They didn't believe her. Trauma, they said. Delirium. Hypothermia-induced hallucinations. No bodies were found. No proof. Just a burnt patch of rock at the top of Black Hollow Peak, and claw marks etched deep into the stone. But Erin knew. She saw it every time she closed her eyes. The thing that wears the ones you love. The thing that mimics the voice of the dying. The hunger that never ends. The Widego. 1 year later. In the quiet town of Pine Creek, a ranger patrol responded to reports of strange animal cries coming from the woods near Black Hollow. They never came back. Their radio crackled once, just once, with a single voice. "Help, please. I think I'm lost." It was Erin's voice, but she was miles away, sound asleep, safe in her bed, dreaming of the snow and the flame and the eyes in the dark. If this story sent a chill down your spine, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more terrifying true tales every week. We explore the darkest corners of real-life horror, from haunted woods to urban legends that are anything but fiction. Thanks for watching, and remember, never follow the voice in the woods. It might not be calling you back. It might be calling you in.